You just revealed 3 weaknesses in the last 60 seconds. The person sitting across from you noticed. They smiled, nodded, and you thought you were connecting. You weren't. You were bleeding information. Every word you spoke handed them a blueprint of your fears, your desires, your pressure points, and now they know exactly how to destroy you. Machiavelli warned about this 500 years ago, but you were too busy talking to listen. Let me tell you about a negotiation that happened in Silicon Valley 3 years ago. 2 founders sat across from a venture capitalist. Founder A talked for 40 minutes. He explained his vision, his fears about runway, his desperation for this particular investor, his backup plans, even the tension with his co-founder. He thought he was building rapport. Founder B said almost nothing. He answered direct questions with minimal words. He smiled occasionally. He waited. The VC offered Founder A half the valuation he wanted with brutal terms. Founder B got a term sheet at his asking price within 24 hours. Same product quality, same market opportunity. The only difference was silence. This is the vacuum effect, and it is the most powerful psychological weapon you will ever possess. When you stop talking, something extraordinary happens in the human brain. The other person experiences an almost unbearable discomfort. Silence creates a void, and humans are biologically wired to fill voids. They start talking, and when they talk to fill your silence, they reveal everything. Their insecurities, their true intentions, their bottom line, their weaknesses. You are not being rude. You are not being awkward. You are creating a psychological trap that people cannot resist walking into. Here is what most people do not understand about communication. They think the person talking holds the power. They think speaking demonstrates confidence, intelligence, authority. This is the exact opposite of truth. Every word you speak is a data point. Every story you tell reveals what you value. Every explanation you give shows what you are defensive about. Every joke you make exposes what you are insecure about. The person listening is not passive. They are hunting. They are collecting ammunition. They are building a psychological profile that will be used against you the moment it benefits them. There is a reason kings never explain themselves, not because they are arrogant, because explanation is the language of the subordinate. When you justify your decisions, you are admitting those decisions require justification. You are volunteering that your authority is questionable. You are opening the door for debate. A king does not debate, he decides, and his silence on the why is what makes the decision unchallengeable. Think about the most powerful people you have encountered in your life. How much did they talk? How often did they justify themselves? How frequently did they fill awkward silences? Almost never. Their silence was their moat. Their refusal to explain was their castle wall. This brings us to the J.A.D.E. trap. Justify, argue, defend, explain. These 4 actions destroy your authority faster than any mistake you could make. When someone challenges you and you immediately justify your position, you have told them their opinion matters more than your decision. When you argue, you have descended to their level and made the outcome negotiable. When you defend, you have admitted there is something to defend against. When you explain, you have suggested your judgment requires external validation. The most dangerous phrase in the English language is, "Let me explain." The moment those words leave your mouth, you have surrendered power. Let me give you a real example. A manager gets questioned by an employee about a decision. Manager A responds with a 15-minute explanation of all the factors considered, the alternative options evaluated, the reasoning behind the final choice. He thinks he is being transparent and collaborative. What he actually did was invite further questioning, because now the employee knows all the variables. Now the employee can pick apart the reasoning. Now the decision is no longer a decision, but the opening position in a negotiation. Manager B responds with 8 words. "I have considered it. The decision stands." No explanation, no justification, just reality. Which manager do you think maintains authority? Which manager do you think gets questioned less frequently going forward? The brilliant part about strategic silence is it makes you unreadable. And being unreadable is being invulnerable. When people cannot predict you, they cannot manipulate you. When they do not know what you value, they cannot use it as leverage. When they cannot anticipate your reactions, they cannot press your buttons. You become a mirror. Everything they say, every tactic they try, reflects back on them while you remain undefined. This is why poker players wear sunglasses. This is why negotiators practice neutral expressions. This is why powerful people never let you see them sweat. The less information you give, the more people project onto you. And projection is not reality. Here is what happens in most conversations. Someone says something provocative. Your ego screams to respond, to correct them, to defend yourself, to prove them wrong. And you do. You immediately react. And in that reaction, you have revealed what matters to you. You have shown them the button they can press anytime they want a reaction. Congratulations, you just gave away control of your emotional state to another person. Do this enough times and you are not living your life. You are performing in a play where everyone else wrote the script. Silence is not weakness. Silence is refusing to play a game where the rules benefit everyone but you. Think about arguments you have had. The person who stays calm and says less almost always wins. Not because their position is better, because they did not hand their opponent ammunition. Every emotional outburst, every desperate explanation, every defensive justification is a weapon you are handing to the other side. Stop arming your enemies. Now let me be clear about what this is not. This is not about being antisocial. This is not about never speaking. This is not about being mysterious for the sake of appearing cool. This is strategic silence. This is understanding that words are currency, and most people are giving away their fortune in exchange for validation they will never receive. You speak when speaking advances your position. You stay silent when silence extracts information. You become deliberate instead of reactive. There are 3 protocols you can implement immediately. Protocol 1 is the 3-second rule. When someone asks you a question, especially a challenging one, count to 3 before you respond. This does 2 things. It prevents you from giving a reactive, emotional answer, and it creates pressure on the other person. They asked a question expecting an immediate response. When it does not come, they start to doubt themselves. They start talking again. They start clarifying. They start revealing more than they intended. You have not said a word, and you have already won. Protocol 2 is the minimal response technique. Answer questions with the absolute minimum information required. Someone asks where you are going. Out is a complete sentence. Someone asks what you are working on. A project is sufficient. Someone asks why you made a decision. It was the right call, ends the conversation. You are not being rude. You are simply refusing to volunteer information that was not requested. Most people spill their entire strategy because they think more words equal more credibility. Wrong. More words equal more vulnerability. Protocol 3 is the strategic exit. When a conversation stops serving you, you leave. You do not explain why. You do not apologize for leaving. You do not promise to continue later. You simply exit. I need to go is all the explanation required. What this does is train people that your time and attention have value, that access to you is not unlimited, that you are not sitting around waiting to be someone's emotional dumping ground or information source. People will respect you more when you respect your own boundaries through action, not explanation. Let me tell you what will happen when you start implementing this. People will call you cold. They will say you have changed. They will accuse you of being distant or arrogant or playing games. Good. That is the sound of people realizing they can no longer manipulate you the way they used to. That is the sound of your power returning. Because here is the truth they do not want you to know. The people who complain loudest about your silence are the people who benefited most from your talking. They are upset because the game changed and they are losing. You will also notice something else. The quality of people in your life will improve. People who respected you when you were an open book will be replaced by people who respect you because you are not. Serious people recognize serious people. They recognize someone who understands that power is not performed, it is possessed. They recognize someone who would rather be effective than liked. And those are the only people worth having in your circle anyway. There is a reason every espionage agency trains operatives in interrogation resistance. Because they understand that the person asking questions is not the one in danger. The person answering is. Every answer is a crack in your armor. Every explanation is a roadmap to your vulnerabilities. Spies are taught to give name, rank, and serial number, nothing else. Why? Because anything beyond that minimum starts the process of breaking you. The same principle applies to your daily life. You are being interrogated constantly, by colleagues fishing for information, by friends gathering gossip, by family members looking for leverage in future conflicts. Most people fail this interrogation daily because they do not even realize it is happening. Machiavelli wrote that it is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. But there is a level beyond both fear and love. It is being unknown. When people do not know what you think, what you feel, what you want, they cannot use any of it against you. You become a variable they cannot solve for. And unsolved variables create hesitation. Hesitation creates respect. Respect creates space. And space is where power lives. Think about this. Every secret you have ever told someone became a potential weapon against you. Every vulnerability you shared became a target. Every dream you revealed became something that could be used to manipulate you. Not because people are evil, because people are human. And humans use available information to advance their interests. You cannot blame someone for using ammunition you handed them. You can only blame yourself for loading the gun. The most successful people in history understood this. They controlled their image by controlling their words. They let their actions speak. They let results do the talking. They did not feel compelled to narrate their every move, justify their every decision, or explain their every thought. They moved in silence. And while everyone else was talking about what they were going to do, these people were already done. Here is your assignment. For the next 7 days, cut your word count in half. Whatever you would normally say half of it. Watch what happens. Watch how people react to your silence. Watch how they start volunteering information to fill the void. Watch how they start seeking your approval instead of you seeking theirs. Watch how power shifts simply because you stop giving it away with every breath. Some of you are thinking this sounds manipulative. Let me ask you something. Is it manipulative to stop volunteering information people will use against you? Is it manipulative to maintain boundaries? Is it manipulative to refuse to play a game rigged against you? No. What is manipulative is the social conditioning that taught you that you owe everyone your thoughts, your feelings, your explanations, your justifications. You do not. The only person you owe anything to is yourself, and you owe yourself protection. I want you to drop a comment right now telling me one situation where talking too much cost you power. Maybe it was a negotiation. Maybe it was a relationship. Maybe it was at work. Share your story because I guarantee someone else needs to hear it. And if this video changed how you think about silence and power, share it with someone who is still out there bleeding information. They need to see this. Silence is not the absence of power. Silence is the presence of control. Every word you do not say is a piece of information your enemies do not have. Every explanation you do not give is a debate you do not have to win. Every justification you refuse to offer is a challenge to your authority that never materializes. You are not being mysterious, you are being smart. You are not playing games, you are refusing to be played. Master silence and you master people. Because the moment you open your mouth, you reveal exactly how to destroy you. And the moment you close it, you become indestructible.